Flippin High School Democratic Republican presidential debate. We are glad to have you here at Flippin High School. Welcome. It is now time for opening statements, and we're going to start with Secretary Clinton.
Thank you, Mr. Hemme. I would just like to say I'm glad to be here at the 2016 FHS Democratic Republican debate, and I would like to thank Flippin High School for hosting this debate, and I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone brings to the table.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me be here, Mr. Hemme. It's an honor. I am proud to be representing the Republican Party in this Democratic Republican debate at FHS, and I hope I serve the working class families of America well.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Senator Cruz. Governor Kasich.
I would like to thank you for allowing me to be here next to these fine gentlemen and Senator Clinton. And I would like to be up here to represent the American people and the core values.
Thank you. Mr. Sanders.
Thank you, Mike.
Senator Sanders. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mike. I'm very glad to be here, and I'm ready to go toe-to-toe with these fine people up here, and I hope that the American people really get something out of this, and they can get some information and help them pick me.
Thank you. Mr. Trump.
I'm so glad to be here. I'm here to make America great again.
All right. We've heard that a few times. All right, so we're going to start off with a rather general question, a simple question. You've stated in general terms that you're glad to be here, and we're glad to have you here. What do you see as the nation's biggest challenge in the next 4 years? Senator Sanders.
I see that the inequality that we have in America, be it economic and racial, being the biggest challenge that we need to overcome as a country so that we can get on the track to success.
Okay. Senator Cruz.
For the next 4 years, I believe we do have three very large problems in America that are expanding today. One being the Islamic terrorism in the Middle East affecting everyone around the world. I believe in the next 4 years, as president, that'd be one of my main concerns. And then the illegal immigration. We need to get tight border control and make sure we cut out the illegal immigration. And then the ever-growing large federal government. That is also one of the large problems, and we need to cut it down and have the government working as it did, as the founders wanted it.
All right, you mentioned ISIS as one of the main problems. Another general question. What steps would you take to defeat ISIS and deal with the growing unrest in the Middle East? Governor Kasich.
Well, to defeat ISIS, we need not to work as a standalone country and just go in alone. We need to work with allies like Israel, Egypt, and Jordania, and we need to work as a coalition with boots on the ground, but not all of our boots on the ground. This is why we work together. We need more special forces in Libya, and we also need to arm the Ukrainians and fight ISIS in Syria and Libya with that.
All right, so a good thing to make one point clear, you do propose putting quote-unquote boots on the ground.
Yes.
Secretary Clinton, same question. ISIS. How do we deal with ISIS? How do we defeat it? Can it be defeated, etc.?
I believe it certainly can be defeated, and that's why I have outlined my three-step plan to do so. And the first step is neutralizing and defeating their headquarters in Iraq and Syria, and because right there is the main problem, that is the main issue, and directly after that we have to target the global terror networks, because those are how these terrorist organizations like ISIS how they are being formed and how they are gaining support. And so if you shut those down, then you stop those from forming in the first place. And then the final third step is to take the defense at home and just make it all around better so that we can stop any future attacks on this great country.
Now, both of your opponents, they've mentioned specific plans on how they're going to deal with ISIS. How would you, Mr. Trump?
It's rather simple. I'm just gonna go in and we're gonna take the oil and then just bomb the hell out of them. And by taking the oil, they have nothing.
Bomb the hell out of them. Okay. I didn't expect that one, Mr. Trump. That is a simple plan. Do you think that alone, taking their oil, is that?
Oil is all they have. They have nothing else.
Do you think it's our right to take their oil?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe we can get back to that one later. All right. Senator Sanders. You've been portrayed as a single issue candidate throughout this entire election by Secretary Clinton, by Republicans. Is this a fair characterization of you? And why, if so, is it fair? Or why not, if it is not fair?
No, of course it's not a fair characterization of me. I am portrayed like that because I really am focused on getting the economic inequality on the minds of the people. But I have, since the beginning of my political career, done many things that I still do today, like marching with Martin Luther King and having the having a 100% rating with various minority organizations. They can vouch for me when I say that I'm not just a single issue candidate and that I do care about the other issues. And
that main issue, of course, being
economic inequality.
right. You want to ask a question? Let me ask this one. Secretary Clinton, how do you see the email scandal affecting your bid for presidency should you win the Democratic nomination? And secondly, do you think you did anything wrong?
No, I did not do anything wrong with this so-called scandal. At the time, the emails in question, what I did, my personal email, the confidentiality of said emails was, it was prohibited that I could use my personal email for these, to receive these messages, and at the time they were not confidential. What happened is they were retroactively considered confidential because either a member of Congress or a member of the executive branch felt like it was necessary that these documents would become confidential later on, and that is why they have that title now, why they are labeled as such, and this will in no way affect my bid for presidency, and no action will be taking place.
Okay, thank you. We have some members from the community here who would like to ask some questions. We have a gentleman on the far left. Would you like to ask a question to one of the candidates? Mr. Dodson?
Yes, Mr. Trump. You have been known during your campaign as the toughest on immigration. But some families have multiple generations established as U.S. citizens that have older generations as illegal immigrants. Are you willing to make any compromises to those families with that situation?
No, they're illegal. They shouldn't be here. They're not welcome.
That's it?
Yep.
Why are they not welcome? Is this not a nation
Because
of
they're
immigrants?
illegal. They should go through the process to be here. They shouldn't be coming in illegal. No.
you still planning to deport all 11 million of them?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to clear that up. I believe we have another member from the audience who might like to ask a question.
Yes, Senator Sanders. You have claimed to be a democratic socialist. How would that affect you in the general election?
I don't think it would affect me in the general election because I think the people of America are ready for a change. And that change isn't going to come from the standard that we have here on the stage with me. But I think they're ready to take the dive with me so that we can bring about a great change.
Can I ask a follow-up on that?
Go ahead.
Okay. So are you suggesting that we change to a socialist country?
I am saying we implement some socialist ideas so that we can become more like the world, and especially with the U.S. being the only major country without universal health care, I think we need to catch up on stuff like that.
I believe we have another member.
Secretary
A
Clinton.
former, if I might, was that former Flippin resident? Welcome.
Yes, these candidates look familiar. Secretary Clinton, you have often claimed that you went to Wall Street before the financial crash and told the investors to, quote, knock it off. They did not. Does this suggest you are ineffective as a leader? And also, would they listen to you now?
I believe that my track record has shown that I negotiate well and that I have a strong presence in our government. Currently as Secretary of State, I have been very influential in numerous policy making and influencing decisions that have been made, both domestic and foreign. And I don't believe that that single point that you mentioned is reflective in my nature when it comes to influence in politics. So no, I would respectfully disagree with your statement. Thank you for your question, though.
Senator Cruz, how do you explain the voting irregularities in Iowa and Hawaii in which you or your representatives made claims that the campaigns of Dr. Carson and Senator Rubio were suspended when they were not? Why should the voters trust Ted?
Well, what happened in Iowa and Hawaii was definitely a mishap. But what happened was we heard the story and we wanted to get that out to our grassroots leaders as soon as possible, just like any other candidate would. If any other candidate heard it, one of their fellow running candidates were dropping out, they would tell other grassroots leaders in the area that they are no longer running so you get more votes. And it was certainly miscommunication within my organization, but I can say as soon as we got the real information, we put it out and we offered our apologies to Dr. Carson and Senator Rubio as soon as we could. And why trust Ted? Trust Ted because I've been fighting for America ever since I've been put into office, restoring the Constitution, holding what the Constitution holds closest, and you can see